Oh boy, I already can tell I'm not going to like this. Welcome to I'm From the Internet, a podcast about the internet, its users, and their consequences. I am punished comedian Winsley Domain, sitting here with internet historian Brandstetter. Jay, how you been, man?
Very much the opposite of punished. I'm feeling quite blessed here in New Jersey. So I understand it's not a common sentiment, but I'm having a good time here.
A New Jersey blessing sounds like a euphemism for a punishment.
Yeah, it's like a Chicago sunroof.
Yeah, it's this is rough. Yeah, no, sometimes I feel as though I've been cursed by the gods, and I would much prefer being a rock or an ant or just nothing at all, crushed into powder and scattered to the wind. But here I am in my basement recording a podcast. So, certain things are just what they are. I don't know. What have you been up to lately,
Fred's been, his arm's been kind of bothering him, so he's been getting more into gaming. He's been playing a lot of, he found out he likes to play like city builder type games because he can play them with his arm. The big problem is always control stuff, and with that he just uses his arm to roll the trackball around. So he's been playing a bunch of Tropico. He's been enjoying that because it has a South American
hell
theme.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Tropico rocks, man. It's a game that you can just like make your character a womanizer, and it will make you more popular with men and less popular with religious people on your island.
Yeah,
it's a fun game.
It's fun
man.
for me too because I played the original back in the day in like 2001.
Yep.
So getting to jump into it like a decade and a half later and be like, oh wow, it's 3D now and has all this neat stuff. And yeah. For people who haven't played it, sort of the thing that makes it stand out from other city builders is one of the first ones to really simulate like the different like political factions in your populations. You have like capitalists, communists, intellectuals, and all these different groups who have like different demands and expectations of you. And also there's a corruption aspect. You're socking away money in your Swiss bank account the whole time. It's very fun. Yeah,
and you can also, it's like you're building out this island of like you can have it be built for tourism, or you can have it be like harvesting sugarcane that you can process into rum. And, it's like a full-on tropical island simulator. It's fun. I like it a lot. And the music will fucking stick with you, dog. It's so good.
Yeah, that is actually a fun thing that happened with this. Is one of the reasons he played it is because Fred is a big fan of South American music and also like Caribbean music, like calypso. And so a lot of times he make me listen to his songs. I'm like, this sounds like the music in Tropico. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to play it. And he listened.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And he was asking me, he looked into it, and the music in Tropico is actually made in-house in Germany. The developers of Tropico are German. But it's all people who are like South American expats who live in Germany, and then they perform together because it's you have a bunch of musicians from roughly the same background living in the same country. They get to know each other, and so the music sounds really good if you're not familiar with it. But if you are, it comes across as really sanitized because they take out a lot of the politics and sex that are usually in that type of music. So if anything, it makes me appreciate it more because to my uneducated ass, I love those songs. I appreciate it more now.
Yeah, it's just like an interesting way of getting into the music. It's like, it's not, you're not getting this deep cultural dive necessarily, but you are like, oh, I like this hook, Just think about how many people like, oh, I don't listen to metal because I don't like Cookie Monster vocals. Like, that's so stupid. Why would I listen to something I can't understand the vocals for it? And then they play, they like shooters, and so they play the new one of the new Doom games, and they're like, oh, wait, hold on. This is fucking awesome. This is amazing. And then, next thing they know, they're listening to Meshuggah. They're listening to, all sorts of different metal bands. And, you didn't get there via a traditional path, but you're still there, and that's what's important.
There is kind of another thing is, so one of the things is he made a playlist for me of songs, of South American songs to play while we play Tropico, and I kind of get why they didn't do it, because sometimes like, oh, this song sounds good, what's it about? And he's like, oh, this is about a factory fire that killed like 50 people. It was the cause of like a whole revolution. I'm like, gee, it's like I'm talking to Winslow about his music here. It's just death everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is one of the things where like you translate the lyrics and you're like, oh, this is about something terrifying. This is a very dark story.
I want to get Fred to talk, like, do a bonus about Calypso sometime, because there's some really interesting stuff in it. Like, I know there's like this one that was popular in America called Rum and Coconut Water, and it just sounds like a cute song. If you hear the actual original Caribbean song, it's about like Native women on the islands having to sell themselves to like American soldiers while they're being occupied. It's actually a very biting and political song, but it's also like a bop you can shake your hips to. Their music rules.
Yeah, yeah, that is a funny way of doing it. Be like, I can't help but dance to this song about like the rape of a nation. Jesus Christ, that's a lot. It makes me think of when John McCain came out to one of his events while the song Gasolina is being played in the background, which for the uninformed, Gasolina is from what I recall a song about a woman who likes cum so much that it's like her gasoline. Just a great thing to see this doddering old pervert walking out on stage to a song about putting cum in his ass. God, American politics. You love to see it, you know?
Yeah, the one upside is occasionally they die.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, eating spaghetti out of the big old brain pan with Meghan McCain. Yeah. If real heads know what I'm talking about. Well, shit, normally we forget to mention this. Two things, dear listener. One, we have a Patreon. It is $1 a month. All of that money goes to Jay and Steve, and we do full-ass episodes. The link is in the show notes. It's called I'm from the internet, and we do all sorts of stuff in there. So please check it out and give it a follow, because it's only $1, and if you like this pod, there's no reason why you wouldn't like even more of this same pod. So
it's patreon.com/IFTI pod. We're up to number 49 on the bonus episodes, and that's not including a couple extra freebies we have on there outside of that system. So yeah, we just uploaded about 6 hours worth of content today, because we do that in batches. So you got a lot of listening on there. People have been enjoying this recent drop.
Yeah, you're fucking welcome is what we're here to say. We're doing good work for you for $1 a month. Honestly, you should send us more, but we're not even going to ask that of you. So we have that. Yeah, I mean, I did the show in Kansas City. It was fine. I think I talked about that last time. I recently went back to Omaha to my buddy's wedding reception. And that was very sweet, because like it was my buddy Stefan, a longtime listener of the pod, and he and I were close growing up, to the point where like I have basically met his immediate family, including many of his brothers and sisters, and even if they weren't around the house, eventually I would see them, right? And so I'm at this wedding reception for a bunch of people that I haven't seen in 15 years. And like one by one, they come up to me and they're like, "Oh, it's the Rat Hole Celebrity. I love your podcast. Oh, I love this thing. I can't wait till your game comes out." And they're like mentioning stuff that's like part of my personal history. And it was just very sweet, because there were some friends. There's a friend from grade school there that I have not seen him since eighth grade. And he was just like asking me really informed questions about the stuff that I'm doing, and so it was just a rare instance where I felt like I actually exist.
Damn, that rules.
Yeah. I've been like recognized on the street and recognized in the airport, and yeah. So normally I feel like a punished, despised old man, but every once in a while it feels nice to be seen. So here we are. Yeah. Congrats to Stefan and Sydney. I'm very proud of them. I got both of those initials tattooed on my neck. Yep. So that's it for that. I have other stuff about the game that I'm working on, but we'll get to that another time.
Yeah, so listeners, if you want Winslow to come to your wedding, that's a possibility.
Yeah, just shoot me a DM. We'll do whatever. But yeah, check out the Patreon and give us a like and subscribe and review. Like, just do us this one favor. You're already listening to us. You're already on the app. We're just asking you to hit that 5-star. Hit whatever. Just give us some sort of action, because Lord knows when all of this falls apart, we're going to need it. So,
the one true currency.
Yeah, exactly.
demonic possession is possible. I believe not only is it possible, but it's the reality.
So what have you got for me today? I'm already upset by the thing I'm looking at here.
Well, I guess speaking of 5 stars, that's a very common way of rating movies. And today we're going into the world of movies with, I think, maybe our first movie-focused internet episode. But it's also our first religion-focused episode as well, because today we're talking about Kabbalah and the Cap Movie Ministry, which is one of my favorite weird 90s cranks of the early internet.
Have you ever seen a movie?
Oh,
I haven't.
All right, well, it's short for moving picture. See, about 150 years ago.
You know what I was thinking is that, like movie is a funny thing because that has completely penetrated our lexicon. Where, like, you know, there's laws about movies. You know what I mean? And I think that that's just so interesting that, you know, it was a slang term that fully penetrated and has established itself as just like, this is what it is, you know? And similarly, I think it's wild that the term sucks is like completely okay. You know, like you could see the squeakiest, cleanest Christian person in the world and be like, oh man, it's raining out there. This sucks. What does it suck? What do you think that refers to? What do you think the word sucks? What's the missing word here? Because what they're saying is that it sucks dick. They're saying this sucks ass.
Really sucks the wind out of my sails.
Yeah, you know, it's like, it's so funny that you can see a billboard that's like, hey, yeah, hire our IT department if your IT department kind of sucks. What they're saying is, if your IT department sucks dick, that's what that means. And so it's just so wild to be like, oh, I guess that's completely penetrated. You know, it's imagine if they're trying to tell you how good something is. Imagine 40 years from now, and it's just like, hey, our AI analysis department, these guys really swallow. What? What? Is that you can't? That's just as lewd, but you're saying it in a good way. Like it's just insane.
I feel like we kind of just went through that with raw dog, where now people just use raw dog as like a non-sexual term for like going, unprotected.
Going without something. I had a joke a million years ago about how I convinced my mom that raw dogging meant being so broke that you're eating raw hot dogs for dinner. And so I have like messages from my mom who's like, how's Chicago, honey? Are you still raw dogging out there? And I'm like, yes, ma'am.
Did you know that all the carcinogens in hot dogs are found in the skin? Google raw dogging for more information.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I just puncture and I deglove my dog so I can just extrude the pink phallus directly down my gullet. Yeah. Well, we've upset the listener enough.
God's not listening anymore. Now we can make fun of him.
Yeah. Okay. So the logo I'm looking at is terrible. I feel like I could describe it for an hour and it still wouldn't fully make sense. It is a circular logo that says ChildCare, one word with a capital C on both child and care for whatever reason. Action Project, Christian Analysis of American Culture. So CapCock is the name of the full thing here. In the center of this logo is a cross. The top of it is an arrow pointing up. It is a pseudo 3D cross. It's clearly done in like a paint program, right? The top, bottom, left, and right on the cross says north, east, southwest, you know. But then in front of it is a big ol' heart that says cap in it, but only the top part of the heart is bold.
Yeah, the line thickness changes halfway through. This is very amateurish.
Yeah, it's very strange. So I don't.
The kerning on the bottom, Christian of Analysis of American Culture. It's like you cut the letters out of a magazine. They did that letter by letter.
Oh God. Yeah, they did that letter by letter. That's so funny. Yeah, so this sucks. And then on the side here it says capalert.com and then cap@capalert.com over there. And then the Cap Movie Ministry in little bubble letters on the bottom, and then there's a little banner ad for parents and grandparents, and then a bunch of like 90s cartoon faces. Would you like to know the true content of movies before your kids see them? CAP Entertainment Media Analysis Reports. Yeah, this is going to be distressing, I imagine.
Very, but also very funny in some ways. It's also, like I've mentioned before in some episodes, I grew up in a very religious household. Like, it was Catholic, not evangelical. Like, I remember when I saw The Lion King as a kid, when Scar calls the hyenas idiots, I was scandalized because idiot was a bad word in my house. Like, it was very strict.
Wow.
Yeah. So, of course, I got to say sucks.
So is this the one? Because I think I saw something on Something Awful. We should cover something on Something Awful someday.
There's a lot of episodes we could get out of that.
Yeah.
I think about 100 or so.
We'll look into it. Yeah. There was one where some user had juxtaposed, this might be more modern, had juxtaposed a Christian movie review thing where the review for Punisher Warzone was less scandalous than the review for Milk, the drama about Harvey Milk.
Have you seen that one? That was a more recent one, yeah. Because this one, as we'll see, it kind of petered out in the early 2000s, although it is still up. You can go to the Cap Alert website right now and look up these movies if you want to just... Yeah.
So they, like, when you do that, you're continuously paying for the web service. So someone out there just, like, either forgot about this or died and their credit card is still active because they're still paying for this.
Yeah, I did find out a little about the guy who runs this, so we will find out some things about him. Also,
we'll take it away.
I'm pretty sure that he made like all this art too, because like that drawing of the kid shows up again in another presentation.
Oh, wow,
I really like this change caption on it there.
Oh boy, yeah, that is very. It's funny to see something that, like, if done in a creepy way, would be a very effectively creepy thing. Because it's so hard as an artist to create something that looks truly amateurish, because you have to, like, unremember so many things that you've learned. So it's like this extremely crude line drawing made in paint, and like one of the characters' ears is clearly just made out of like crescents made from circles that have partially been erased. So it's all of these very hideous faces. One of them is almost, it seems like, missing a face.
Like faced out on the desk.
Oh, okay, weird. And then it says in like very poorly spaced letters, "We are not a daycare organization, period." And that's just like, I don't know. That one's just upsetting.
Exactly.
That's just a creepy way.
I also see the train of thought where he was like, well, I have this picture of kids, but we don't actually have anything to do with daycares. Maybe it's such a window into his mind that he doesn't realize how creepy this looks.
Yeah, that's so weird. Yeah.
And also, to really drive home the time and place this is from, I got the first pop-up I've had in years when I was researching this episode. When you go to the main page of the Cap Alert, we get this pop-up here. Please help keep this free service free, in all caps as the header. And then there's a whole thing about...
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, like pop-ups used to be a thing, and they're just like, they just don't let your computer do that anymore. Now, the website, their browsers don't let you do that anymore, but then your actual computer will constantly be like, update this, update that. There's all of the pop-ups have just been pushed down to a software problem.
Yeah.
But interesting.
Like, I remember when Google first did their toolbar with the ad block, with the pop-up blocker, and seeing like literally thousands of pop-ups have been blocked over the time I ran. Just being like, God, those things were everywhere.
Yeah, it's just so crazy. Anyways, yeah, so it's just begging for money because he did all of these film analyses. It's just like a shitty person watching a movie and just writing down every time somebody says, gosh, you know?
Yeah, I will say, like, in terms of ministry, like, this is all I can really find out about this guy. I really just feel like he's just like a Christian movie fan who wanted to, like, find a way to justify having the thing he already was going to do be part of a Christian thing.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but he did put in some work to this. There are currently 1,569 movie reviews hosted on the Cap Alert website. So he's reviewed a lot of movies. Also, this is not a cropping error for me. I have a section here with some visuals to help you get the mood. And some of the images are straight up like huge extra blocks on there because he didn't resize it right.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's way too many movies, man.
Yeah, it is a lot. I didn't read every single one of those, I will say. So I apologize if I missed a favorite.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, these are some of the banner ads that were on the site when I was reading this.
Oh, boy. It's just a circle slash, and inside the circle slash says freedom from accountability, which is so fucking funny that, like, I didn't realize. I was expecting to be free from accountability, but I guess this website has made it so that I am not. And then the next one is a very 90s graphic that says the medical truths and dangers about homosexuality. And beneath it is college aligned. One of the most compelling resources available in understanding the medical truths and dangers about homosexuality. Your choice of a 1-hour CD, audio cassette, and more. Click on the graphic above for more information. It's like, I know that this is still a thing, I guess, but like in the 90s, a very large contingent of Christians, I would say the vast majority, their whole thing was that being gay is a choice. It's a choice that you do. That you're like, oh, instead of doing the thing where I'm naturally inclined to be attracted to the opposite sex, I'm going to choose to do the thing that wildly endangers my life because of out of control bigots and homophobes. You know, it's the David Cross joke of just like, well, I know that it's obvious and clear that I should be heterosexual, but I'm going to invite hate and violence from the stupidest people on the planet and be homosexual instead. And now it's not so much depicted as a choice. Now it's more of like my kid saw a cartoon that was too colorful when they were 5 and now they're gay. We need to ban all colors from the TV. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I feel like that, yeah, certain arguments have kind of decayed, but there's still, you know, same bigotry still floating around. But
yeah. I guess another one of these that did stand out to me was this is since the site started in the 90s, this one here, Arab Bible Ministries, reach Muslims online, like back before 9/11 when it was just like a group to proselytize to and not like the holy enemy.
yeah, reach Muslims online. This is a very funny idea. You just click it and then like suddenly it turns on the webcam of some Muslim kid in the Bronx and he's like, what the hell? Hi, I'm going to tell you about my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I also like that in the background here, is that your question mark that is very faded into the back?
Oh, no, that's another one of their graphics here. Let me switch there we go. It was supposed to show about like, this is one of their graphics they made showing like, how did we calculate this? I was showing off his graphic design skills there.
Oh, weird. Okay. Huh. Yeah, because it just like blends in. The graphic design of this is very strange.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, one thing to know about me is like, I am still the burn it all down edgelord atheist from the early 2000s. I just don't talk about it anymore because losers who have no sense of context will think that being an atheist is just as bad as being like part of the 2,000-year-old rape cult of the Catholic Church. And so I just don't talk about it a whole lot, but yeah, every single part of this should be expunged from the earth and cast into the deepest depths of the sun. Yeah, I'm against all of this, everything that I'm seeing here.
Yeah, same. And
that's just me.
Yes, all I have to say is I lived, bitch.
Yep, exactly.
You tried really hard, but nope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck all that.
So as for what Cap Alert's goal, in their own words, I have their stated objective here. Objectives: to provide a symbiosis between the entertainment media preferences of youth and the relationship of youth with fair authority, parental, exofamiliar, and other youth. Then in all caps, due to lack of funding, this objective is on hold. To analyze the content of public school programs which assert parental authority and direction, which present pansexualism and freedom from accountability, which encourage re-examination of parent and gospel-taught ethics, which encourage modification and or abandonment of righteous values, which build self-esteem and self-importance at the expense of self-respect. These are all nested semicolons, by the way. This is just one. This sentence is falling down the stairs of semicolons. Final one here, which presents psychological testing of students, semicolon, which engage in other non-educational matters.
Okay. I mean, I imagine the listener doesn't need us to go through this.
Yeah,
like
point by point rebuttal. Prove this wrong.
I need to stress to you, this isn't extreme. Extreme would be like that it's a fringe outlier belief. This is, if you're a Christian listening to this, great, cool, fine. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to the Patreon. But this is not an extreme belief. This is a very common belief in American Christianity that One, this person is like, due to lack of funding, they're like, give me money so that I can sit around and watch movies and get angry about them. And so he's talking about public school programs which usurp parental authority and direction. Okay, that one I disagree, but understand where you're coming from. Which present pansexualism and freedom from accountability. No, pansexualism exists. Knowing that something exists does not make you become it. Yeah. I know about werewolves. I know about gay people. I am not a gay werewolf. All right.
That feels like such a late 90s thing to be bad about pansexuals. Like the early 90s is when like that cover about like bisexuals are here thing. So like that's what it was more normalized. So pansexuals are the new scary thing to be afraid of.
Whoa, boys kissing, which encourage the re-examination of parent and gospel taught ethics, which is, it's just like, I cannot stress to you enough. These people truly believe that everything that they were taught from their parents, that is the end of history, and that no more modifications, therefore, thenceforth can ever be made. That the only ethics are the ethics that they have. Because the very next thing is, which encourage modification or abandonment of righteous values, which is, again, only their values are righteous. Like this is not an open mind. This is someone who would be extreme in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. And this next one is like one of the ones that gives it away. Their criticism is that they are against programs that build self-esteem and self-importance at the expense of self-respect. They are criticizing things that build self-esteem somehow at the expense of self-respect. And the thing is, when they talk about self-respect, they're not talking about the respect you have for yourself. They're talking about the respect that this Christian guy has for you. If you're a boy with an earring and it makes you feel better about yourself, they are going to point their finger in your chest and say, you have no self-respect. You're doing something that I don't want you to do. I have been around these creeps for so fucking long, and like, they are handled with kid gloves by every single breathing person in the American media system. They are treated as like, that's a perfectly normal, reasonable thing to do. When Christians abuse the fuck out of their kids and threaten them with eternal damnation and hellfire, that's totally okay. If I had a child and I said, if you disobey me, I'm going to put you in a place where you will be burning alive forever, that's crazy. If I call that place hell, that is completely okay. In fact, that's the good thing to do. And it's been like a central frustration with my life that like this insane rape and torture cult, because they have a lot of numbers, it's totally fine. I'll close with this. A delusion is not a delusion if it is broadly accepted. If me and you think that Elvis lives on the moon, we are delusional, right? If 100 million of us believe in our souls that Elvis lives on the moon, that's not a delusion. That is culture. And, saying that that's wrong is now, culturally inappropriate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm against all of this. I was just in Omaha. That's why I'm mad. That's all I'm going to say.
I guess the only thing I have to add is this is very funny that this big plan is basically complain to the manager. Like that's what it all boils down to.
Yep. Yeah.
Going to get really bad, and I'm going to complain to people about it, and they're going to have to listen to me because it's their job.
Yeah.
Part of his solicitation here, he goes, the ultimate number of possible objectives is vast. We will conduct analyses as resources permit, which we'll find out wasn't very much. And he goes, we have provided 13 years of service with no charge to the over 10 million visitors who have used our services. And each has picked up seeds, capitalized. Seeds which Jesus can nourish to salvation, capitalized.
Dude. This is such a fun one because he's saying that there are 10,200,000 that have used our service. I can tell you for a fact that is the number of views that he has had on this website. That's it. And it goes back to what I was saying in a previous episode, where if you click on a YouTube video and then immediately click off, YouTube is like, all right, that's a view. You have to watch a little bit, and then YouTube will count that as a view, right? And so imagine if I was selling prints And I'm like, wow, I sold 100 prints today. That's so good. 100 people have my art, right? There's people who will like take, my card game has 862 cards. Each one is a print, technically speaking. And so every time I sell one of those, I'm selling 862 prints. That's so amazing. I must be a high roller. And if I sold 3,000 of those, then I have 2.5 million prints. Wow, that's really good. That is just a dishonest way of fluffing your fucking numbers.
And also using my service for visiting a website.
Yes, exactly. It's so funny that vanity to these people is when somebody wears a nice dress that has a deep neckline, or they wear shorts that are a little too short. That's vanity, and that's disgusting. Someone who is so up his own ass that he's like, 10 million people have used my service and have been led to Jesus Christ. I alone am why they are in heaven. And it's just like, if you get people to believe absurdities, you can get them to commit atrocities. And this person is believing absurdities, and his own personal self-image is a fucking atrocity.
Yeah, I'm working hard on the first part. He sort of closes off his spiel here. He goes, and the seeds are working. Hate mail has dropped off to a trickle. Death threats have stopped altogether. People are asking good questions. Like, that's how he ends his
Because you're not important.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, your fame dropped off.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, you're not, yeah. I think about, like, every day you see people getting lit up on Twitter and like quote tweeted and be like, look at this piece of shit. And they have all these fucking comments, some pro, some against or whatever. And I'm always just like, why has this never happened to me? Why does I've had a few things go viral, but I've never been like in a firestorm of everybody hating or loving me or whatever. And it's because I'm not important. That's it. And I know this. I know that I'm not important. I am dust. I am dust in the wind. And there's some people that are like, actually, I'm so important. That's why everyone doesn't talk to me, because they're so intimidated by my importance. No. Shave that mustache, you fucking dork.
Yeah, now we get to see what he looks like. So we have some pictures of him. The guy who runs this, his name is Thomas Carter, also known as Tom, from Granbury, Texas. And his name is on the site, so I'm not doxing him. But yeah, there's a picture of him on the site on the right, and one on the left is one I got from his LinkedIn from his younger days.
So the one on the left, he looks like a firefighter, but he also kind of looks like if a gummy bear was given the chance to be a real boy. And it turned into a very cherubic face.
In the 70s, yeah, with all the facial hair.
Yeah, exactly. A 70s gummy bear firefighter. Yeah.
And so he has a bachelor's of science in industrial technology from Southern Illinois University. And a bit about his philosophy. One of his quotes, he goes, comment to those looking at my sermons. Using the teaching, he misspells teachings, he says teachings. And expectations of Jesus as our investigation standards to tell mom/dad the truth about the content of entertainment so they can make an informed decision whether it fits or not. All one sentence. That's the other thing. This guy's professionally writing for God, but he's not a very good writer or spell checker.
Yeah. Here's another pro tip. If you use the word whether, you don't need to add or not to determine whether it fits, because whether includes or not. So you just say whether it fits or whether it works. Whether it works or not is redundant. Another thing I learned in the past 5 years of writing. But anyways.
Oh yeah, as someone who speaks half filler words by volume, I totally have that problem with my writing. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, yeah. And then also this next part is very funny because when I was writing this, I was talking to Fred about this guy, and he's like, oh, this sounds like a bunch of foster parents I have. And then wouldn't you know it, I found out, family, 28 foster children over 11 years, adopted 7 of them, 1 biological son. So that might explain how he was able to fund all this. He might have like a foster child farm going on in the background during all this.
Yeah, man. If Christianity and the beliefs and behaviors of Christians came around today, it would horrify us. Like, oh, there's this group of people who worship a man who killed his own son, but also was his own son, and they are snapping up as many children as possible from the foster care system to indoctrinate them into their belief system. Yeah, dog. That's terrifying. That's horrifying. And they're threatening them with eternal torture. That's bizarre.
Yeah. I guess for me, I guess like my sympathetic reading of that, I guess, is it's kind of like the metric system, I guess, where it's like I know the metric system is right. Like for like what it's like, but because of where I grew up, like the time and place I am, I just grew up learning the American imperial system, and it's what I internalized. And I'm not wired in a way that I can unlearn that in the way that some other people can. I figure that's kind of how I view a lot of things. It's like, yeah, I mean, I grew up in a very religious household, and I'm the type of person who's able to kind of get out of that. But I understand everyone is, and some people help to understand the world. So I'm kind of like, my attitude is kind of, everyone's kind of at a different stage of working through it, not in a condescending way, but just in a like, being patient and supportive of people. Because I guess my attitude is, if you're listening to this podcast, you are probably, and you're a Christian, you're probably already pretty cool with people being a little severe to you. So
yes, I will say the caveat I have for that personally is that that matters if you're working through it. And like, we're all entitled to our belief system. Mine's right. And I know that they think that theirs is right as too, but like, because I believe in what I believe that they are wrong. And,
because I feel like cool religious people I've known, they're the opposite of that, where for them, religion's all about discovery and learning. They're always telling me some cool new thing they learned about like some religious text or some new thought thing or whatever, instead of being like, well, I got everything figured out, now I can just be angry at people for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Like that's one, like, I know that I'm probably coming off very, very, very scorched earth right now, but like I'm not referring to like all religious people or all Christians across the globe, right? Yeah. Because like if we just removed like the torture and the bigotry from this belief system and just looked at it as like historical and interesting like thought experiments, like it's absolutely fascinating. There's a reason why like I went well out of my way to study eschatology and like in world religions, and half of my bookshelf is like esoteric analysis of like weird Christian far-flung sects of that religion, and I have these weird lesser used translations of the Bible that I think are just like so deep, like Jainism, so fascinating. The conclusions that they are drawn, the count, like the edicts of Nicaea, where they are figuring this stuff out, and like there's these hermetic orders that are just like completely secluded in Siberia or in like some far-flung place, and it's like a whole bunch of guys with the Bible sitting around figuring out the most baffling and detailed and complicated texts ever created. That's amazing. As like a product of human ingenuity and interpretation, like what our minds can do, all that's great. Threatening people with eternal damnation because they love the wrong person sucks. I think it's all deeply interesting. Like if I was completely repelled by religion wouldn't be completely plugged into every single thing that I do, Yeah. Like so much of the research for The Restless was based on esoteric orders of Christianity and Islamic orders. So yeah, I'm like, I think it's fascinating, and I'm not saying that everybody who believes is like reprehensible, but your freedom ends where my freedom begins, kind of thing.
He isn't the only person who is ostensibly writing this. There is a board of directors listed on the website. It's one of those board of directors where there's a conspicuous number of doctors on it, and it's not a medical organization. So that's when it's like, oh, they're just using this like Esquire, aren't they?
Yeah, are they reverend doctors like Billy Wayne Davis?
maybe. Yeah, doctor isn't really a protected term like it used to be. Thanks, chiropractors.
Yeah, I knew a black man whose name was Sir, because his dad was like, now all the white men have to call you Sir.
Hell yeah, that's a whole generation.
And I'm like, that's dope,
like
dude.
Mr. T. That's why he went by Mr. T. First name Mr.
First
middle
name
name
Mr.
period.
Middle name period. Last name T. Yep, last name T. No, and I've done shows with his daughter.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, she's a Chicago comic.
Carter is the only person who draws a salary from this, I found. On part of his donation spiel, part of his what he used the donations for, so he lists the costs, and he lists his salary per the 2005 poverty guideline for a family of 8 as $32,390. So that's what he's saying he pays himself every year to run this website, along with and also like there's $18,000 for insurance. And also like, it looks like he's just like listing all of his expenses on here.
Yeah, and I'm not going to get mad at that. This is his pursuit. You get to get paid for your pursuits. Yeah. That part's fine.
And also, I will say one thing that surprised me about him is that he's a surprisingly anti-capital punishment, which I was not expecting for somebody who's this. Yeah, he had a whole thing about like how spare the rod doesn't mean you're supposed to hit your kids, and that like spanking your kids just scares and hurts them. I was like, stop clock, I guess. Good. I'm very surprised.
Okay, yeah. I will grant him 1 point.
Yeah, okay. But now that we got all the background, maybe we can get into the important things, which is how does he figure out how to score a movie? Because, we're still trying to figure out how to score media on a scale that everyone agrees on. So he has his explanation here. He goes, first, the film must be viewed personally. Our model will not permit film analysis or scoring without an investigator actually watching it. That entails getting to the theater, watching the film, then getting back. Typically, the local theater manager lets me view the film without charge since this is a nonprofit Christian ministry, but only the local theater manager. Films are viewed for violations of 80 prescribed investigation standards built on his word and fractioned into the 6 CAP investigation areas, WIS, DOM, which we will find out what those stand for later.
Come on, dude. He made his own special system?
Yes, Fallout stats, exactly.
That's Fallout stats. That's so... Does he get perks, too? That's so funny.
I feel like I'm locked a couple read this, yeah. Findings are annotated on a specially prepared form during viewing. This takes 1.5 to 2.5 hours. Yeah, this guy is like getting free admission to a local theater, bringing his clipboard and just angrily taking notes the whole time.
That's funny. Under no circumstances do you have to hand it to the Catholic Church, but like I do think that it is a fascinating human endeavor to take this like bizarre blob that is human life on existence on the planet and like all of these creatures and all of these behaviors and all of the circumstances in which we find ourselves and thrust a grid of like good and evil on it. Like the earliest attempts at like classifying all species were like funded by the church, which I just think it's such a like interesting pursuit of just like, well, we have this planet. We need to write down everything that's on it and categorize it because that was the first command of the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I'm from a biology background, and yeah, a lot of foundational biology stuff was done by monks and religious figures, and then as a part of a drive is the idea of like understanding the world around you as opposed to like mysticism. The drive, I think that is very interesting, and how many people that's motivated. Yeah, especially back in the day.
And so like creating this system called wisdom by which he can judge everything that can occur in a movie is just fucking fascinating. I think that's so interesting.
Yeah, especially this very particular perspective. And he has also, one of his questions he gets is, why movies? Why are you focusing all this time and energy on, this relatively disposable pop entertainment? He says, does the entertainment industry have something to hide? Do their, quote, products have something to say to your kids the industry doesn't want you to know about? Are they trying a version of the don't tell your parents tactic? Are they so dependent on youth dollars that they have you shielded from that which your kids are exposed in and as entertainment? Since more than half of all moviegoers are non-adults, since more than half of all feature-length non-cartoon movies made are rated R, and since I have seen for myself the uselessness of the R rating in keeping youths out, what else are we to believe? So think of the children, basically.
Yeah, think of the children. Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things where it's like, we are not going to come to the defense of the film industry. So I had to make my own distinction recently because The Restless, my card game available on winslowdomain.com, is the box says that it's appropriate for ages 16 and up. There's like, pretty graphic stuff in this game. There's like severed heads and stuff. That's like standard horror fare. That's fine for like, you can see a drawing of that.
You can go to a Spirit Halloween when you're a small child. You can see all that stuff there.
Yeah, they're not going to card you like you're at the weed store. But there's also like an image of a woman giving birth, and she's like surrounded by demons. One of the final monsters in the game, his whole thing is that every time he breathes, like a coiling nest of psychic penis ghosts comes out of his mouth because he is like the entity of all masculine violence. And so like there's like these adult depictions in it. But I saw fucked up stuff way, way, way worse, way younger than 16. And I'm going to say that I turned out fine. I don't think that putting an 18 plus on this game because you can see a vagina in it is helpful. And so I don't know, this guy's pursuit is interesting and foolish at the same time. But so too is the idea of putting an R rating on a movie because it's completely PG and then they say fuck twice. R rating, automatic R rating, right?
Yeah, it's one of the few hard lines on it. Yeah, that is one of the things that
Yeah.
pops up a lot in this is him complaining about MPAA ratings. Like he has whole screeds about what he calls R13, which is PG-13 movies that should be R. And to me, it's kind of quaint now because I feel like the MPAA ratings don't really matter that much in the age of streaming. Like people just kind of watch everything from home now. So it's like, you know, if you're a young person, you don't really have those barriers that they used to have. And that used to be the big thing was Walmart wouldn't sell stuff that was NC-17 or adult only rated. So that was why it was the kiss of death to be rated that. Whereas now digital distro, who cares? Steam will carry that stuff.
Yeah, but be real with me. How many games were NC-17 or adult only? Well, I can think of 2.
It was kind of a chicken egg thing too. I think like there were very few high profile ones that all bombed. Like in movies, sort of. I think like the movie Showgirls is kind of blamed for killing the NC-17 rating because that was a huge flop, and that was also like a very high profile NC-17 movie. So, and then from there it's like a chicken egg where it's like we don't want it to be this because it won't do well, so cut it down to this, and then it sort of perpetuates from there.
Okay. When you said adults, like NC-17 or adults only.
That's the video game rating I meant. AO,
yes,
the one above M.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, I was confused for a second because I know that the Wii console version of Manhunt got AO. It went from being mature to AO because the mature version, you're just like pressing a button and killing someone. And the Wii version, you're actually like garroting somebody by moving the Wii nunchucks and stuff. And I think BMX XXX had like extremely rudimentary nudity in it. And that's what gave that an NC-17. Because you can have a game where people are being like brutally butchered and dismembered and hanged up on like their bodies are hanging from barbed wire and their entrails are spilling all over the ground. That's immature. If you have a completely normal game where you see a nipple or a penis, that is absolutely verboten. That is completely, even though you can lift up your shirt and see your own, I can't lift up my stomach and see all my entrails. Believe me, I've tried. Anyways, have you ever thought that society might be fucking bullshit?
No, man. Fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the main reason why I wanted to include that thing was because the follow-up is, I think, a very fun window into his, like, how he's just rationalizing the things he wants to do. Update, May 25th, 2004. Typically, theater managers understand that we charge nothing for our service and are a nonprofit Christian ministry 100% dependent on public support and thus permit us free admission. But yet one more theater in the Fort Worth area, a new theater called Rave Theater, has shown that they too are apparently afraid of parents knowing what is in a film before the parents decide whether to let their kids watch it or not. That says a few things, but I'll leave you to the things it says. Again, I ask, what are they afraid of? It's like, oh, you're not giving me free admission? You must be part of the vast child-abusing conspiracy.
This is what I'm getting at. If you're not immediately, if you go there and you're talking to some like pockmarked 17-year-old saying like, you have to let me in for free. I am a Christian. And they're like, my manager's not here. I'd never heard of giving people free. What? And they're like, oh, so you're part of the QAnon rape cult. And it's like, okay, that's not what is happening here. But these people believe that they are the inheritors of the literal entire planet.
Yeah. God, that is such a small southern town type of crank, like the guy who has a nebulous agreement with the business owner that lets him like have a discount or be free. So he's just always there and no one likes him. Like usually it's at diners, I feel like.
I go to the No Frills and they give me milk for free because it's against the Bible to charge a man for milk. Well, come over and I'll show you my writings on this subject. You cannot charge for milk. It says so in Ephesians.
I heard you guys talking about prisoners. You want to know what the wisdom score for that was? Hey, where are you going?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and his site is focused on movies, but music did come up, and I had to include it for you because the bands they include. Yes.
According to testimony by San Bernardino police detectives Jason Lamar Harris, 20, and Amber Rose Riley, 16, admitting to killing a 22-year-old man after listening to Slipknot. The case is the second in the Southern California county in which a murder suspect admitted to musical motivation. Okay.
Musical motivation is such a whimsical way of phrasing that.
Jonathan Lee Stevenson, 18, was arrested for an April 2nd murder of a teenage girl, allegedly citing Cannibal Corpse lyrics. Okay. Cannibal Corpse, yes. Their music is about, like, rape and murder. That much is true. Slipknot's lyrics are just, like, they're very much beating around the bush. I remember, like, trying to get into Slipknot in high school because everybody was into it. And I was always just like, but they're not really saying anything, and everything kind of sounds like it wants to be metal, but it still wants to get the rock dollar. And so, like, it just didn't click for me because Slipknot's, I hate to say it, they're not that heavy. They're a really intense, like, hard rock band, and that's it. I listen to metal, but I don't know. Yeah. So that's fine. And I also, of course, he has to include the logos for these bands to show you they're scary. Look how scratchy their logos are.
Super crunchy, low quality JPEGs of them.
Yeah. Oh boy. Take me to the wisdom system, because this is already. All right. So the
wisdom review system. Would you like to read down what wisdom stands for?
So reviews are based on the wisdom, WISDOM system. W, obviously, for wanton violence and crime. I, for impudence/hate. S, for sexual immorality. D, for drug/alcohol. O, for offense to God. M, for murder/suicide. One of the best things to come out of GURPS is the special system for Fallout. If you've never played special, you have 1 to 10 points in each of these categories: strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. And that's like a extraordinarily comprehensive way of organizing a character sheet. That's like, it's hard to find something that doesn't more or less fit into those categories.
Like when they made the Fallout show, all the characters in the show have special stats because they were like as part of figure out what the characters were. Yeah, like that. It's very effective for what the goal of that system is of creating a vast array of different unique types of characters. And this one, I'm not saying that he's inspired by it. I'm just saying that he's trying to do a similar thing of taking a word and using each letter to apply to a certain type of thing within a system. But it's like so bad to the point of, like, offense to God could literally be anything, because that's what all of these things are. Wanton violence/crime. Okay, so if you see someone getting murdered, does that go into W or M? And impudence/hate, those two things are like, they're not even related. They're just like, there's like disrespect/hate. Like, those are wildly different things. And he talks a lot about how his scoring system is objective. So yeah, that is always very funny when it's just immediately subjective.
Yeah, it's again, when we talk about vanity, you have to include the people that think that they are talking for God. And this is a person who genuinely believes that he is talking on behalf of God.
There's also adults being very impressed by acrostics like that is always very funny to me. Because, like, that's a thing that you have, like, first graders do to show they know how to spell their names. The idea of, like, no, you don't get it. If you write these all out, they spell a word. It's like, it's very easily impressed to be proud of that.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'll bet he was really satisfied when he figured out that last one. Yeah. Anyways, this is annoying.
God, yeah. And also he's because he's a big number guy, he charted out the average wisdom score of all the movies he's covered. So yeah, you could see the impudence hate tends to be pretty low, but murder and drugs tend to be pretty high. It has like a little curve there.
Yeah. Like, is this guy a complete teetotaler? Like, you can never have a beer?
He does include like alcohol and drugs as offenses in this. I don't know if he personally does it or not, but he does seem to have that old school dry mentality about alcohol. So
interesting.
And I do have this quote here. Yeah, he goes, "The CAP model relies on fact, not speculation. It is as objective as any human evaluation system can be. Either an example of unacceptable activity or behavior was present during the investigation, or it was not. The CAP model makes no attempt to evaluate whether any justification for an unacceptable activity or behavior was present." So he says, I'm ignoring context. I'm just tallying up the sins as they commit them and using that to calculate it.
You can't reform this, and you can't have a conversation with this. He's created this. It is as objective as any human evaluation system can be.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
Also, one of his things that animated, it doesn't matter if it's animated or live action, it's still the same. So it's, Bugs
That's
Bunny
awesome.
getting shot by Elmer Fudd is the same as like watching The Matrix.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Oh boy. And a little more number crunching. I sent this to you when I was working on it as part of my feeling out for how funny this was. The cap rule of 1,000 to explain his philosophy of movie with the bads.
Yeah. I don't know, because there is beauty in, I think, the pursuit of like calling order to an orderless environment, of just being like, okay, okay. I was just looking through some photos last night, and a friend gave me access to the vaults underneath the Field Museum in Chicago, where they have preserved specimens of literally millions of different insects and animals. Like one jar can have 100,000 different species of creatures, right? There's people there whose whole job is they just like, okay, for the next 5 years, I'm going to open this jar, going to take out one single thing from this cloud of insects, identify it, classify it, and add it to the catalog. That's the whole thing. I think that that's really interesting because there's all of these different ways of classifying creatures through, sometimes it's even like DNA sequencing and stuff like that. And that's like this extraordinarily astute and thoughtful way of doing it that is as truly as close to objective as possible. And this guy is watching Bugs Bunny get run around by Elmer Fudd, and he has a little clicker in his hand every time a bad happens. And I think that is just in the way that Ben Shapiro wants desperately to be a filmmaker, but can't because he sucks. This guy wants to be, somebody who is classifying. He wants to be a Darwin of whether or not movie good or movie bad.
Yeah, this whole calculus formula to explain, it doesn't matter if there's a lot of small infractions or a few big ones. It's all equally bad in terms of like people, because he has people, of course, people view him like, why are you doing this? This is stupid. This doesn't match the Bible at all. And so he's very preemptive about that. And like I mentioned about him being very concerned about the MPAA, he's even like graphed out his reviews next to the MPAA to show like how they fail short compared to his system. Just a lot of graphs.
Yeah, graphs are important. But the more I look at this, the more I'm getting like one drop of a schizoid personality disorder.
Yeah, there's a little neurodiversity at play here, I feel.
Yeah. I don't know. This is a very interesting. I don't know. I wonder what his most acceptable R-rated movie is.
Since there's so many of these, it was very hard to do hard numbers on this, but I did pick some stuff out as we will see. And I will say,
wait, hold on. Oh, density. I thought the what is that? The y-axis said destiny, and I'm like, oh man, that's a really funny way of putting it. So we're looking at a series of like overly complicated bar graphs to see how many times a movie includes a child disrespecting their father.
How many commandments are broken at what point?
Yeah.
And I think like a very fun taste of what type of person this guy is he's the type of guy who feels uncomfortable writing words like jackass. So when he does some of these movie titles, we have
oh wow, Jacka, the movie. He doesn't even like put an asterisk in there. That's interesting.
Yeah, there's also for Meet the Fockers.
It's Meet the FO.S. Oh man, This is as bad as like people not wanting to put C and K together because they think that it'll make the Crips try to kill them.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
Austin Powers, the spy who blanked me, which sounds way dirtier.
Oh Jesus, yeah, that's so funny. It's a. It's the Jimmy Kimmel like adventures in unnecessary censorship.
You're swimming with the shirt on. You're just drawing more attention to yourself, man.
Exactly.
So it took us an hour, but we got all the prelude out of the way. Now we can look at some actual film reviews, and the film reviews are very fun. So I got some selected highlights here. Good introduction. We want to break into the period of film that this guy covers. Let's start with a nice neutral pick. Agent Cody Banks 2, Destination London, rated PG from the year 2004.
I don't know the first thing about this movie. Who's the main boy here? Is that
Frankie Muniz?
Frankie Muniz?
This was during this was during his post Malcolm in the Middle, like sort of his peak fame. So I picked this out. I wanted to do like a popcorn classic movie. Like, okay, how does this guy react like a completely forgettable 2000s movie?
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to guess White Hot Fury.
Oh yeah, here goes. I'll just read the whole block here. Below is a display of two sets of cap thermometers comparing the scoring of the two Cody Banks movies. Of special note is the near parallel scoring between Agent Cody Banks PG of 2003 and this Agent Cody Banks 2 Destination London PG of 2004. Both films earned nearly exactly the same scoring in the final score, the influence density and min-max score, but for quite different reasons as revealed by the positions of the, quote, mercury in the thermometers, parentheses, the higher the better the wholesomeness, in parentheses. A very interesting finding indeed, and a very revealing finding not possible by any other service. Well, what can we expect? I may be the engineer of this analysis model, but Jesus is the designer.
You already know how much I hate this.
This might sound crazy, but when Jesus make me say crazy things.
I'm gonna go out of my way again to say, this guy started off as just a regular crank. I think that he is, at minimum, rather deep on the autism spectrum. I'm going to say that right there. I think that I'm still getting a little, because there's the oh wow, the fantastical
the wisdom
world
rating.
Yeah, interesting. I'm still getting a bit of like the fantastical world of the schizotypal personality disorder is shining through here, because like this is so wildly unnecessary, and the up its own ass way of displaying.
It's very information dense, but doesn't actually tell you anything.
Yeah, it is very much. I feel like I'm looking at that crazy ass dog food bag with like 1,000 different fonts on it. This is so much, because it is a series of 6 thermometers, and the higher the thermometer is. Why use a thermometer?
Exactly. It doesn't make sense. They're all next to each other. They should be reading the same.
They're all next to each other. Higher means better, but in fractions are so like it's what?
Exactly.
Okay.
I researched this episode. I still don't really understand this. It's just that you just bask in the density.
And you're right. Like this information is just like, okay, hot. I think hot being closer to hell. But cold, heaven isn't necessarily cold. So thermometers is just like a completely baffling way of organizing this. Maybe he was just like, the only thing
I know how to draw is thermometer, so I'm going to have to work this into my system somehow.
So if I have a really bad, evil movie, I'm going to look at the chart and all of the ratings are going to be low.
Yeah. Even
though the instances are high, because high on the thermometers is closer to God. And then area score, which whatever. So that's the individual scores of wisdom here. And then for no reason, he has examples per hour. What? Why would that matter?
Yeah,
a movie is just a movie. It's not like I can turn on Austin Powers and like I'm going to watch 7 hours of Austin Powers and then accumulate, 54 different infractions of drugs and alcohol. It's there. Why would you put it by hour? What is?
Look, if it didn't matter, why would God make him do it?
Yeah, this man is unwell
in a fascinating way. Yeah, very well documented.
Yeah.
So that was a kid's movie. Another film I pulled up is The Birdcage from 1996, rated R. If you've never seen this movie, you'll understand from the context. Okay, quote. I could not justify spending the time and effort necessary to do a complete analysis of The Birdcage. Great Scott! Robin Williams kissing on other men? I am aware of Williams' use of foul language and sexual material in some movies, but who'd have thought? It may be illegal in Canada and other countries to speak out against homosexuality, but not in America. Not yet, at least. No, ... I am not a homophobe. I do not fear or hate the homosexual. I just hate homosexuality.
Yep. I mean,
I like the beginning with Great Scott and then ending with I hate this group of people.
Yeah. My ex from a million years ago, her dad was just oh boy. Out of respect for my ex, who I do not get along with, I'm not going to say some of the psychotic things that this man has said and done. but there was a thing where, we were hanging out with our gay friend, and her dad clarified, well, I don't hate homosexuality. Like, it's just disgusting. And then he just walks away, goes into the basement, and then he comes back and he goes, just like they have sodomy and they like it. Ugh. And then he walks away, and then a few minutes later he comes back and he's like, just like two men together, like bodies against bodies, just like disgusting. I just I wouldn't even want to think about that. And then he goes away and comes back, and like he did this like 4 times, indicating that he was just like in the garage thinking about butt fucking for like an hour. Also, sodomy is anything that's not PIV. Getting head is sodomy. You don't like it? All right, man. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that aside from I think you might have walked into it. I think you should leave sketch without realizing it. That is very...
yeah, very much so.
So I always have a sampler of highlights from quotes of reviews that I don't feel really need any context. So if you want, we can alternate on these, or if one stands out to you, we can go through. But I just have some very fun quotes to go through.
Depraved, degenerate tripe. This is about the best phrase I could think of that describes the content of Scott Pilgrim versus the world. That is just my opinion. Man, is it just your opinion? Or is it the word of God from your quantifiable metrics?
The only objective review system.
Yeah, the objective metrics that you have set out.
Oh, God, I'll do the next one. Okay. As seems typical with New Age movies, George of the Jungle, 1997, was infested with liberalism of previously avoided sexual material. Granted, to the average moviegoer, seeing a hit to the crotch many times is not as bold as seeing sexual intercourse or nudity. But such material and such density is just another step in the path of sexual freedom, lowering of inhibitions, and toppling of thresholds of acceptability. Since this movie had so little unacceptable material in other investigation areas, the focus of the producers and writers was very clear on George's crotch. George of the Jungle, 1997, is nothing more than an elementary school version of an adult dime novel.
It's just so funny that they don't see themselves as like finger-tenting psychopaths, because they're like, it's just another step in the path of sexual freedom. You should not be free. You should live in sexual slavery. That is the world that this man wants. We should be sexual slavery who never see anything. Like, you should never look below a person's clavicle, Yeah, it's just, oh boy, this guy sucks.
Yeah, when a man gets hit in the balls, that's not funny. That's the devil.
Yeah, that's pornographic. Yeah, getting doinked is pornographic.
Oh, God. Okay, you want to do the next one?
South Park is an incredibly dangerous movie for those who do not understand or are developing an understanding of the gospel. ... Incredibly dangerous. Some of the scenes in South Park reminded me so much of the image of demons screeching and dancing around a boiling cauldron as Satan gleefully looks on from the background as demons pitch soul after soul after soul into the burning cauldron. Yeah, man. That's certainly a sentence. That's definitely what you think. I don't know, man. I don't think that if you don't need to review South Park.
That is a very funny thing,
know what
too.
You're getting into.
He has a section on his website about why do you review R-rated movies? He's like, well, my point is I need to analyze what Hollywood is up to so we can see what they're really doing. Basically to establish a baseline, but honestly, it just sounds like you wanted to watch R-rated movies.
Yeah, it really is just like, this is a person who gets off on being mad. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's what this is. This guy wouldn't have an identity if he didn't have, his crusade.
Yeah, that's all there is of him online, really. And so he does like some movies, though. I have a quote here. I gotta subjectively admit, Spider-Man was an amazing piece of work, comparatively light in sexual issues, comparatively light in language, and obviously a statement of good over evil. But did evil ever make its presence known?
Yeah, what the fuck do you want? Like, this is the weird handshake between like lefty Zoomers who are like, you should never depict bad characters in your movies, because depiction means endorsement, right? But it's like, yeah, if you want to have good over evil, you're going to have evil in your movie, man. Oh boy. Well, okay, so he does like this. He's big, he's green, he's mean, and he's an ogre. Shrek is all these things, and an old softy with a big heart. But to look at him, you wouldn't know. Jesus tells us we are not to judge by mere appearances. Okay, he likes Shrek. That's interesting.
I thought that was cute.
I would think like a talking animal would like infuriate him. And like if he sees a dragon in a good light, it's like, well, yeah, but what about the dragon that was it Gabriel or Michael killed?
I do remember that was one of the things he dinged was the scene of the dragon kissing Shrek on the butt. He counted that as a sexual impropriety.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh my God. I'll do this next one here then. Some of the lighter moments in Resident Evil were when one of the commandos, Reina Campo, played by Michelle Rodriguez, tried to look oh so menacing and threatening by dropping her jaw and looking through her eyebrows. How butch. I wonder how many of our young girls will be seen walking around looking through their eyebrows. Like, he's trying to be like, women trying to look tough. And it's like, you're a movie critic. Shut up.
Looking through her eyebrows? Does that mean like
the Kubrick stare?
Up?
Yeah.
Oh man! See, this is the what's amazing about like when you get deep into this kind of Christianity is that like on the outside, most people think a sin is when you like knowingly tell an untruth or kill someone or steal something. But I mean, to quote Reverend Lovejoy, it's like, have you read this thing? You're not supposed to go to the bathroom. This guy is mad that a woman had her head angled down and her eyes looking up. That's something that he's noticing, and he's like, that's not right. Women should never angle their head in that direction. He's mad about that.
She's obviously trying to signal that she thinks she's better than me. I mean,
yeah. After about 45 years of progressively invasive operant conditioning by the entertainment industry to strive towards freedom from accountability, authority, and consequence, see our sad but true introduction, Pokemon the movie is an augmentation extension which not only furthers those influences but leads into conditioning for lust of power and control of others with little to no consequences or remorse. Man, I'm trying to think of someone who has a lust for power and control of others. I wonder if he would do it by trying to control every aspect of the media that they get to see.
All right, yeah. So this next section is a bit of a guessing game. I picked out clips from reviews, and it'd be fun to figure out what movies he's talking about. So I got the first one here. I'll start. As Dr. Martin Luther said over 500 years ago, his conscience was captive of the word of God. So is mine, and I am not politically correct. Jesus spent 3 days in hell, so you and I would not have to spend one moment there. I will not situationally redefine, counterfeit, or conditionally apply his word to achieve a convenience interpretation, to avoid invading a comfort zone, nor to suit choices which are outside of his will for us. Not even my own. If I violate his admonitions, I am as guilty of sin as anyone else who does.
So, Martin Luther was the original Martin Luther a doctor?
I was going to say, I think he got that mixed up with Dr. Martin Luther King, who is legitimately a doctor. He has a doctorate in theology. He is a legitimate doctor. I know I made that joke earlier, but no, he's real.
That's really funny that he's confusing these two
when
individuals.
Dr. Martin Luther boycotted the buses back into the Vatican.
Yeah, by nailing his theses to the front of a Greyhound bus.
He wrote down his dreams and nailed them to the cross.
Exactly. Yeah, I fucking...
Yeah, we're not going to guess any of these because he's just blathering on about whatever he's mad about. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so... this one...
The answer to this one is...
Rent from 2005.
Rent. Okay.
So
yeah.
Maybe a little easy to find one he would be mad at. But yeah, of course he's mad at the gay musical about AIDS.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that was
that makes sense.
Yeah,
any movie that leads you to towards understanding a person that is evil or a person that is different from you. Sorry, I read evil because I'm reading this next one. Yeah. Rent. Say what you will about Ronald Reagan. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't know how many minutes are in a year. All right. Then we have this next one here. This film is almost a tutorial into evil magic. Interesting that he puts a caveat on evil. All magic would be evil to him, I would assume. Anyways, this film is almost a tutorial into evil magic. There is so much content of the unholy nature that to even summarize it here would take up far too much room. Realize as you pursue that listing this film presents evil as good. Jesus, angels, and angel-possessed people use good magic, better termed holy power from God. Witches, wizards, witch doctors, and sorcerers, people possessed of satanic interests, use power not from God. And if power is not from God, that even if it is called white magic, it is from Satan, who is second only to God in power. Using power not from God is serving evil, even if it is used for good. It's either Harry Potter or I don't know. I can't. I was gonna say like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
The tutorial on evil magic is Disney's The Princess and the Frog from 2009.
Jesus Christ, dude!
A talking alligator. Obviously, that's Satan.
This is like, I cannot stress to you enough. This is what they actually believe. This is like, if you put this in front of the average, like, MAGA Christian right now, they would say absolutely. Also, it's immoral to have a black person on a screen.
DEI princess,
DEI princess, the whole shebang. This is not an extreme belief. This is extraordinarily common. Look around you. This is rough.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Another one about magic I'll do here. A note about magic. Yes, it exists. I've never seen it in action, nor have I ever dabbled in it, but Jesus had it, and he gave the magic to his disciples. Satan has magic and gives it to his agents. So what's the difference? The magic Jesus and his disciples used was holy power from the Father. Satan's magic is not holy. So it is not the use of magic, nor the user that makes the magic holy or unholy. It is the source of the magic. In turn, there is no such thing as a good witch or good warlock, no matter how she/he uses whatever power she/he might have, even if it is used for good purposes, since the power of a witch/warlock might have is not from God.
Fuck if I know, man.
Yeah, so more of his
it's just screeds about shit that isn't real.
Yeah, the world building for the magic system of his novel he's never going to write. Yeah, this is Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium from 2007.
Jesus Christ.
God.
Yeah. Interesting. Again, I still want to know who is good in this world. Like literally he's looking at the whole world through the lens of filth and depravity. And so it's like, who comes out on top? It's like, that's one of the things, like, original sin, you can put it in the kindest light of like, hey, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has their own little flaws. We should treat everybody with a little bit of, be conscious of the things that other people are going through and know that, hey, nobody's perfect. Fine. But then there's these other interpretations of that are just like, the whole world is disgusting and depraved and filthy, and like every single thing, like if you smile, there's something wrong with you because that smile is not of God. Like it's just such an unbelievably inhuman way of living your life. This guy is miserable for no one made him this miserable. He is choosing every day to live in a life of pure terror.
Yeah, and I don't know what his best movie is, but I did find one of his worst to end on, so that's going to be pretty fun.
Okay.
All right, you want to do this next one?
Sexual immorality, S, 61 out of 100. The character is drawn to a t-shirt that reads, "Bite me," which is seen repeatedly. Maybe that term of arrogance has changed over the years, but it is originally a homosexual term, meaning oral sex between males. I am not going to second-guess the meaning the writers had in using that term and go with its original meaning, a meaning that has no business in any film, let alone a child's film. The only other matters of the sexual nature include a number of scenes to draw attention to the posterior, a wedgie, a revealing statue, and a buxom character throughout. 1 Thessalonians 4:7, Ephesians 5:3-5.
Yeah, he cites a lot of these.
Yeah, bite me. I mean, like this is just as egregious as when early internet Christians were just like BRB is just like bleeding my brother, and LOL means Lucifer our Lord, and it's just like, you people are out of your minds. Yeah. They just, so the mind wants to find symbols. That's all.
Yeah. So the movie that was distractingly focused on oral sex, gay oral sex for this man, was Megamind from 2010 by DreamWorks.
Yep. That's true, man. Nothing says oral sex quite like a a DreamWorks picture about a man with a big blue head.
Yeah, nothing gets you horned up like a buxom woman on camera next to a man with a big blue head.
Yeah. This is bad. Don't like any of this.
Yeah. And then we're getting to the end here, so we got one here if you want to do it.
This movie is a prime example of calling evil good. Isaiah 5:20. To take an immutably evil entity and give it a face of goodness is a slap in the face of the one who gave us the truth. One and truth being capitalized. Even when done in fantasy, after seeing this film, they who have an undeveloped or underdeveloped understanding of the gospel and the scriptures will now have yet another battle to contend with. Another obstacle, another stumbling block. One word, stumbling block. That sounds like a German, hello, I mean, Eirich stumbling block.
I think stumbling block opened for Kraftwerk at one point.
Yeah, stumbling block. Yeah, I fucking, yeah. It's just this thing of like, these are people that, have you seen like the lady that had like some sort of keratinosis thing where like, she had a hair growing out of her head, but it's like a horn, there's some word for it. Yeah, where it looks like a horn, and it's just like, it is a medical condition. And people would see that, and like, if you were to make a movie where that woman exists and she's nice, they would say that this is satanic. Because like, these are people that believe that you can be born evil, irredeemable. And it's oh God.
Man, you really vibed with this one, yeah, because the movie that is a prime example of calling evil good is Hellboy from 2004.
Oh, man.
The movie is literally about a devil deciding he doesn't want to be bad anymore and being a good guy. Exactly like you said.
Yeah, it is like there's an interpretation where it's just like, you know, where he is coming from a place where he is corrupted from sin and he's searching to do good. Like Hellboy is a good guy. That's the whole thing, is that like he is rejecting the sinfulness. He's rejecting the evil that created him. And like, yeah, there's interpretations where this could have been like such a funnier, like a nicer way of looking at it. But
a setting where God objectively exists and relics have power against objectively evil demons is actually anti-God.
Yeah, I mean, it's the reason why, like, one of the programmers for the original Doom was a like very Catholic man, and he had no problem making Doom, I should say, sorry, because it is a game about killing demons. You are there are demons in this world, and you are there to kill them. And people like Christians will look at that and be like, it's bad to kill demons, to have the main character is Catholic and is hunting down demons, and Christians and Catholics are so mad all the time about seeing the thing that they want that they start to like protest against it. You want us to reject and destroy demons, so we show you that, and you're mad. No take, only throw, you know?
Absolutely, God, yeah.
Yeah.
This collection of alcoholism and drug-induced hallucinations and stupor, Ephesians 5:18, is less than anything approaching entertaining. If one were to take all the pages of the Bible which present any guidance on personal behavior and tape them to a large wall, then throw a couple hundred darts at them, it is likely each dart would point to a chapter/verse which has applicability to the behaviors in this movie, except murder and suicide. There were no murders or suicide noted in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was for Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, 1998. So, gotta give it to him there. That is a pretty, very edgy movie. So I get it. But just him watching a Terry Gilliam movie in Wrapped Horror is very funny to me.
Yeah. What the takeaway from all of this is that this person spent years of his life absolutely miserable, just constantly disgusted. Like it's like he got sprayed with that Israeli skunk chemical that makes you smell like rotting corpses, and you can never wash it off. His whole life, he lives in constant fear and revulsion. Yeah, it's great. This guy is constantly terrified.
Yeah, devoting your life to a thing you hate. What could go wrong?
Yep. Yep, misery all the way through.
God, yeah, and the final review I have here, like I mentioned, so this guy reviews R-rated movies, but there are a couple of movies that were too much for him. And the one I want to close on here is his review of Matilda from 1996, rated PG, with no cap score and no cap ID, as we will see. Okay, are you familiar with Matilda at all? Did you watch that when you were growing up?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it was on some screens somewhere. I don't think that they showed it at my Catholic school, but I don't recall there being a lot of sensorial, because it was just like Disney movies that they played in after school care when I was like, in the second grade, right? So I don't know if that's something that that they were doing, but yeah, now I'm just trying to think about it. But yeah, I've seen pieces of it. I know that it's like a girl with magic powers, and she's reading Moby Dick, and Danny DeVito is like, Moby what? And that's like, I know.
Yeah, that was like one of my favorite movies.
I know that the actress has a nickel allergy, but yeah, that's all.
Yeah, Mara Wilson, she's really interesting. She said she's written some interesting stuff about the internet because she grew up as a child star on the early internet, which is a very unique experience to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a movie that scandalized him so thoroughly, and I'll read it here. He goes, I apologize that you have come to our site to see a numeric comparative analysis of Matilda, and none is here. I did not complete the analysis. The occurrence of unacceptable material was so fast I could not keep up with the rate of examples. In the first 20 or so minutes, I had a full recording page of examples of impunity/hate and wanton violence/crime. And it was inaccurate because the rate of presentation of unacceptable material was so fast that by the time I had one recorded, another example came and went. This was by no means a kid's movie. It was a dark and emphatic feeling of adolescent wishes for removal of parental and exofamilial controls and for revenge on authority.
It's just amazing that like we're not exaggerating. These people genuinely believe that authority is like to be in authority is to be good. If you have power, you are good. That's it. And so like rejecting the authority of the cruel prison warden is evil. Rejecting the authority of an abusive parent, that is evil because they are the authority. To ever do violence to stop more violence is evil. It's just.
Yeah, and like that's a big part of why I like Matilda so much as a kid in hindsight. It's a movie about an abused child getting revenge on her abusers. Like that's very relatable to any kid who's going through a bad growing up. So I can see why someone like this would hate it so much because it's basically a movie about how people like them suck.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the last of the reviews. And there isn't really that much of an ending for this. It's just that like by the mid-2000s, he's no longer doing full reviews and only sporadically updates. He stops doing the big write-ups, he says, because he's not getting enough money for it anymore, but he still does scores at least. So it's kind of
You're not paying me to hate things. How will I survive? Get a job.
I'm not getting enough comments.
Cut your hair. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's just this kind of, it's still up, but he did just kind of trickle off. There's a couple of 2010s reviews, but it's not really getting updated as often as it was. And I guess,
because you don't need it because everything is bad except Shrek. Everything is bad.
Exactly. It's the one thing we can all agree on. That's why it was there when we needed it in the early 2000s. Yeah. And just one other thing was just looking through this, it makes you appreciate, like, I appreciate this more seeing modern Christian internet stuff because just looking through this, I found like this banner, clear and biblical preaching, try pro free. Like, this begging and guilting, at least it's not paywalling. And
Yeah. Oh, boy. Again, it's the Emo Phillips joke of just like, I mean, his joke is way too fucking long to say, but it is just like, oh, dude, it's so crazy that you were born into the religion that's right. And that your specific interpretation of a Bible that was edited 1,000 times over and then like completely chopped up and rearranged and edited and had certain chunks left out by King James, all of that, you have the specific interpretation that's actually like the guidelines of the entire universe. If you know the first thing about the history of the Book of Revelations or of any of like how the Gospels were written, when the Gospels were written, and by who, you would have a completely different reading of you're like playing telephone over thousands of years, and you're like, the book says that it's true, and that's how I know that it's true. Good luck. I regret that you have controlled the world for 2,000 years and then 3,000 years before that. But
at least we got some funny movie reviews out of it.
We got some funny movie reviews out of it, but is that what we got for today?
That's what we got. Just some crazy ass movie reviews from someone who's very dedicated to their cause until they stop making money off of it.
Yeah. Well, shit. Well, usually we give a little bit of a recommendation of something that we're getting into at the end of this thing, but before we do that, we're gonna do our plugs as we always do. You can find us at IFTIPod on Twitter and IFTIPod@gmail.com. Let us know if you have any questions or ideas for episodes. We also have a link in the show notes to a big ass document with tons and tons of different ideas of topics that we can get into as we expand this podcast to be about the whole of the early internet. Please let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Also, give us a rating and review. And as for me, I'm Winslow Domain on Twitter. Winslow Domain on Twitter, winslowdomain.com, where you can get access to my game and all the other stuff that I make. And you can also check out my Discord, where I am working very adamantly on the next game that's going to come after The Restless. You can see all that there. And I am Calculations on Instagram. And I'll be posting, I've been posting some like sneak peeks at the next game as I work on it over time. So shoot me a follow there. I'd really appreciate it. And Jay, where can they find you?
I'm jaybrandstetter on Blue Sky. I have my link tree in the show notes. I'm working on the show right now mostly. If you follow me on social media, you might see some cute pet pictures or some cookies I've been making, or usually when I'm researching an episode, I will post as I'm researching it, so you can kind of get a sneak peek of what's coming up, or maybe some stuff that didn't make the cut to the full episode as well. Yeah,
there's the Patreon has so many episodes. I mean, we just added like 6 hours of different stuff that we've done. So
yeah, and we had a really cute comment. It was I posted the one where Fred was guesting on, and one of the comments was "disgraced comedian Winslow Domain," more like replaced comedian Winslow Domain.
It's like, true, man. They're cutting jokes. Me out.
We've really made it.
Yeah, punished and disgraced and replaced. I try to come at this show is a lot of fun to me, and I really enjoy doing it. The rest of my life can be an ever constricting noose. It is a nightmare in many ways, but I do have fun on this show, and I appreciate everybody who contributes to it and writes us little comments. It's been good, and I appreciate you. Recommendations or what we've been into lately? Do you have anything, Jay?
I might mention it casually at some point, but I've been playing through the Hitman World of Assassination trilogy. I was an OG Hitman sicko. I played Codename 47 back in the day and played like the entire series up through Absolution as it came out. And then I was just out of PC gaming for a while, so now I'm finally getting to catch up on 3 games worth of Hitman, and they're all quite good. And it's like, if you've heard the concept and think it's just like boring, it's a very silly and fun game. Like, a lot of the game is just the creative ways you can come up with doing executions or doing accident kills for people. Like, I had like a fun, like, I'm trying to think of a fun one. Like, I mean, like a famous one is there's like one where you're doing, the first one is in Paris. It's a fashion show, and you can like impersonate the male model and walk around and try and assassinate. You can just do all sorts of very silly, fun things in it, and it's very reactive and clever.
Yeah, I never played them, but I really like that you could like dress in different costumes and like everybody would treat you differently. You can like, you're the target that you're trying to assassinate has like they're not just sitting in a room. They have all of these different things that they're doing where, like, as you play through the level, maybe they'll eat a meal and then they'll go and stand on the balcony and then they can maybe they'll go for a swim and then they'll get changed and then they will go to a gala later. And so, like, you can poison that meal, you can shoot them from the balcony, you can electrocute them while they're swimming. You can do all of these different things where there's not just one way to play through the game.
Yeah.
And I've always appreciated that.
And also the globetrotting is really nice because it's kind of like they got hired to do a James Bond game after this because it's kind of James Bondy already. And like the locations are really neat. One of them it takes place in Miami, so that's the only way you're going to get me back in Florida. But it was neat to kind of see like these Europeans do a pretty accurate take on Florida. Just That is a neat part of it. And yeah, like in the Florida one, like one of the people you're trying to assassinate is as a race car driver, and you can like shoot the car while it's driving and make it crash, or you can impersonate a race official and disqualify the other guy so she wins, and then rig up the pyrotechnics so when she celebrates, or you can put poison in the cup so when she drinks from it, she dies. Like it's very, they think of a lot of fun things, and they're very good at guiding you to it through achievements and challenges and such.
That's interesting. Yeah. As for my recommendations, I think the sole good thing that I've had in my life lately has been, well, yeah, I mentioned that metal label, Transcending Obscurity. They have a band called Replicant, and their latest 2 albums are available for like name your price, and they are like extremely groovy technical death metal, and those have been really fun for me. And then I would say that we already mentioned Darkwood has a sequel coming out, and that's really exciting. But yeah, that's kind of it. I've just been doing that and watching Northern Lion, and I recently read, and I cannot necessarily recommend because it is a very clear forgery, but I did read Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, which you can read in an afternoon. It's interesting how it's written, but do not for a moment think that this is a real thing. It is a very prominent conspiracy document about the plans for a new world order. But yeah, first half is interesting, and then the second half is like, okay, dog, this is just a libertarian screed by the end of it. Like, there's no way that this is real. But yeah, interesting things to look at. That's what I got for right now. But thank you for listening, and we will be back next week with more crap from the early internet. We'll catch you later.
Happy holidays.
I'm From the Internet is created by Jaybrandstetter and Winslow Domain. Edited by Steve Brown. Music by Steve Isbrook.